South African-born billionaire Elon Musk has initiated a hostile takeover of Twitter after buying up to 9% of the company's stock earlier this month. Musk has now put in an offer for all of Twitter's shares. Let's discuss this with my Broadband Editor, Vermeulen. Jan, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. So Elon Musk wants to buy all of Twitter. Would that be a good or a bad thing for the social media network?
Well, it depends on, good afternoon. It depends on whose perspective you're looking from. So from the Twitter staff's perspective, the uncertainty that this creates is harrowing. Because it suggests quite a lot of upheaval at the social media platform, because Elon Musk's intention is quite clear. He wants to change things at Twitter. He doesn't think they're doing a good job about what he calls upholding free speech principles, and he wants to change that. And people are nervous about that within the company. But there are plenty of people on Twitter and elsewhere, banned from Twitter perhaps, and Elon Musk himself and people who, I guess, believe in his vision of the world, who will think that it's quite a positive development. It all depends on whose shoes you're standing in.
I understand Twitter's already said that it will consider quite seriously this offer, but do you think there's any real chance that allow Elon Musk to own the whole thing?
There is. We've seen mixed reports about the actual valuation of Twitter. Now, obviously, it's down from its all-time high price of around $70 per share, and Elon Musk has offered about 50% over its trading price when he bought shares the first time, of $54.20. Now, that 420 reference is already kind of a signal that this is a bit of a tongue-in-cheek thing, and one has to wonder how serious he is about this at all. But in response to that criticism, he's actually obviously tweeted about the fact that Goldman Sachs believes that Twitter is worth maybe $38 a share, and there's a massive downside risk. And in February, they advised people to sell. And so perhaps he is serious about his offer, even though he's got the marijuana reference there in the price. But certainly the offer is serious enough that Twitter is taking steps or considering steps to head him off at the pass, so to speak. There's reports out on the Information and New York Times today. It's a rapidly evolving situation, obviously. And there's new reports out now that they are looking at what's called, I think, a bitter pull defense, essentially diluting the shareholding, all kinds of very complicated corporate maneuvering to try and make it as painful for Elon Musk to do this as possible. They do think that there is some serious risk here.
I don't want us to get too technical, but as far as diversifying business interests, when you look at Elon Musk's previous work, he's most known, at least outside the business world, in fact, for his work with Tesla, right? Why social media? Why expand in that direction?
And SpaceX. So in this case, we've got journalists that caught up with him at a TED conference recently, and I'll quote him directly so that people can get a sense of what he's saying. He said, "My strong intuitive sense is that having a public platform that is maximally trusted and broadly inclusive is extremely important to the future of civilization." Now, he does make a bunch of high-handed comments, and it's sometimes, people, dispute just how sincere he is being, or whether he's posturing here to make himself sound smart, or whether he is indeed, as smart as he puts himself across to be. At least the answer that he's giving is this is not about money. This is about his belief in the platform's larger importance. And certainly he's a huge user of the platform. And in that sense, he has a massive stake in having it be successful and having it, favor his interests.
He's also...
and so less about money and diversifying business interests than that.
And he's also made controversial remarks, some of them online. One of the people banned from Twitter in recent years was the former U.S. President Donald Trump. But as we've seen with the debate around free speech during the Russian invasion of Ukraine, one can always decide to allow as much speech as possible online, but it's not always up to the social media networks themselves, isn't it? How much can be said and about whom?
Right. So sometimes they will be limited by the jurisdictions in which they operate. And so in this case, Twitter is headquartered in the United States, and so that will have a tremendous impact on how it implements free speech protections. And then, but they do have a significant amount of say, and in that respect, Elon Musk makes in that respect his argument is good. That one thing, for example, is that there was a lot of debate during COVID, and I think that's more where this is. I don't think he's much of a Donald Trump fan, and I don't think he's much of a fan of Russia invading the Ukraine necessarily. But certainly when it came to COVID matters and about lockdowns and about people returning to work and that sort of thing, he was quite critical about the United States' response, even though it was, by all accounts, pretty poor. He was still quite critical about isolation orders, stay-at-home orders, quarantining, that sort of thing. And so but then those comments would then get deprioritized by Twitter's algorithms. They'd get flagged as potentially misleading or inaccurate. And certainly, I think he has an axe to grind there when it comes to these kinds of things. Less with respect to Donald Trump and Ukraine, but certainly with respect to COVID.
My broadband editor, Vermeulen, always good to have your time. Thank you.